A new day has begun, and I feel truly excited. Today I'm ready to dive into the captivating love story between CEO Hmong and Tieu Ca. Together, we will follow their journey, understanding the emotions and decisions that shape their relationship. Are you ready? Today, Tieu Ca sat quietly under the house's porch, her gaze drifting far away. Her mind seemed to be lost in deep thoughts, recalling memories of the feelings she had for Hmong. She couldn't forget the things he had done for her and her mother, his quiet sacrifices for them. He didn't just help her find a new plot of land, but he went above and beyond to ensure a sturdy home for them. He even willingly went into the forest with her, chopping wood to bring back for the construction, helping her with everything without a single complaint. She sat there, feeling the depth of her feelings for Hmong, a love that was unfamiliar yet warm. However, inside her heart, she couldn't help but feel conflicted. She didn't know how to accept his feelings, as all she had was a heart filled with anxiety and confusion. She thought of the words spoken by Hmong's father, the conversation they had the day before, which still echoed in her mind. "You shouldn't get too close to Hmong. Stay away from him. Stay away from my son." Hmong's father's words hung over her like a dark cloud, clouding her thoughts and making it even harder for her to decide. She couldn't forget the look in his eyes, the worry in every word he spoke. It seemed like he wanted her to stay away from Hmong, to keep her distance from him. Tieu Ca wondered whether she should listen to his advice, continue to maintain distance from Hmong, or once again open her heart to the love he had for her. She was confused, unsure of what to do, uncertain of which path was the right one, and also unsure if this love was truly worth risking everything for. Today, when Hmong's father heard that his son had bought a new plot of land and even an entire pomelo grove, he decided to visit and couldn't hide his surprise. He never imagined Hmong would make such a decision without informing him first. When they met, there was an awkward silence between the two before Hmong's father finally spoke. Sitting across from each other, Hmong could sense the tension in his father's gaze, but he also couldn't hide the sincerity in his own heart. He looked his father directly in the eye and gently shared, "Dad, I know you're worried, but I want to be honest with you. I really care about her. She's the only one who's shown me the true values in life. She's not only strong, but more resilient than anyone I've ever known. Over the past days, I've seen the hardships and struggles she's been through. But what's remarkable is that she never complains or asks for anything. Every time I try to help her, she refuses, even with the smallest things. That's why I've realized she deserves to be cherished." Hmong paused for a moment, his emotions overwhelming him as he spoke about her. He looked his father in the eye and continued, "I hadn't thought about it for a long time, but when I saw her, I couldn't stop. My feelings for her have only grown stronger each day. She's made me feel more mature, more resilient. She gives me a reason to strive, not just for myself, but for those around me." Hmong's father listened silently, seeming to sense the sincerity in his son's words. He sighed, looking out the window before turning back to his son. Finally, he spoke. "I can't stop you from this. You're an adult, and you have the right to make your own decisions. If you truly feel happy and have a valid reason to love her, I won't interfere. However, you must remember that love is never easy. You have to take responsibility for your choices. She may bring you happiness, but she could also bring you pain. I don't want you to suffer, but I can't make that decision for you." Hung looked at his father, feeling much lighter. He stood up, walked over to his father, and bowed his head. "Thank you so much, Dad. I know you're worried about me, but I truly believe this decision is the right one. I won't disappoint you. I'll do my best, not just for myself, but for her too." Hung's father looked at him, his gaze now softer, filled with understanding and empathy. He gently patted Hung's shoulder as if offering encouragement. "You're an adult now, and I trust that you can make your own decisions. Live according to what you believe is right, and don't regret your choices. I'll always be here to support you." Hung's heart swelled with gratitude. He bowed his head, choking up with emotion as he thanked his father, knowing that no matter the difficulties, he would always have the support of his family. The decision had been made, and now it was time for him to move forward on the path his heart had chosen. Immediately after leaving the conversation with his father, Hung felt relieved, but his heart still couldn't stop worrying. He hurried to meet her, wanting to understand her thoughts and feelings more clearly. When he arrived, he saw her sitting alone, her eyes distant as if lost in deep thought. She hadn't noticed his presence until he walked closer. Hung couldn't hide his concern, walking closer and gently asking, "What's wrong? I see you're deep in thought. Are you feeling unwell?" She turned her head to look at him, her eyes glistening with exhaustion, as if she wanted to avoid his gaze. She stood up, distancing herself from him, trying to keep space between them. A heavy silence hung in the air. I think we shouldn't see each other anymore," she said in a cold tone, trying to hide the emotions within her. "I don't want you to come to see my mother and me anymore, and I don't want you to help us any longer." Her words hit Hung like a slap to the face. He stood still, unsure of what was happening, unable to comprehend why she was pushing him away so decisively. He stepped closer and gently took her hand, his eyes filled with worry. What's going on? Did something happen?" She looked down at the ground, her voice trembling as though she was trying to hold back her emotions. After a long pause, she sighed deeply and opened her heart to him. "Your father came to see me. He said a lot about our relationship. He doesn't approve of you caring about me and wants you to stay away from me. I can't be caught in the middle of this, Hung." Hung felt a lump in his throat. He never expected his father to visit her, and he certainly didn't anticipate that things would become so complicated. He didn't want her to bear any more burdens, so he quickly took her hand, his eyes sincere and warm. "Don't worry," Hing said softly. "I've talked to my dad. He's agreed not to interfere with our relationship anymore. He understands, and he's left the decision to me. I don't want you to worry anymore. You can relax. Everything will be fine." She looked up at him, her eyes filled with confusion and emotion. At that moment, she felt as if a heavy weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She never expected his father to change his mind, and his support made her feel so much lighter. She paused for a moment, not knowing what to say. The two of them stared at each other, the silence stretching in the air. But it wasn't an awkward silence. It was the silence of two hearts finding each other, of two people who truly understood each other and were ready to face challenges together. She gently nodded, her eyes sparkling with a soft joy. Hung looked at her, a warm smile spreading across his face, then gently took her hand and pulled her into his embrace. They stood there in that peaceful space, and all their worries seemed to melt away, leaving only a tender, serene happiness. In that moment, they both understood that no matter the difficulties, they were ready to face them together, and nothing would stand in the way of their love. Tieu Ca cam, they tried tim he nang hon bao gio het. The anxiety and uncertainty seemed to dissolve, replaced by a sense of tranquility and peace she had never experienced before. Now she could confidently open her heart, ready to embrace all the good that Hmong had to offer. She no longer had to struggle or avoid it. Instead, she was ready to accept and trust whatever the future held. From that moment on, everything in her life seemed to become easier and more beautiful. Each passing day, Tieu Ca clearly felt that whatever challenges or difficulties came her way, they could now be faced with ease, as long as Hmong was by her side. The fears and worries she once had slowly faded away, making room for simple but incredibly precious joys.
Hùng nhìn cô nở nụ cười ấm áp, rồi cúi xuống nhẹ nhàng nắm tay cô, kéo cô vào trong vòng tay của mình. Cả hai đứng đó trong không gian yên bình, và trong lòng họ mọi lo lắng như tan biến, chỉ còn lại niềm hạnh phúc dịu dàng, bình yên đến lạ. Trong khoảng cách ấy, cả hai đều hiểu rằng dù có khó khăn, nhưng họ sẵn sàng đối diện cùng nhau, và tình cảm này sẽ không còn gì ngăn cản được. Tieu Ca cảm thấy lòng mình nhẹ nhõm hơn bao giờ hết. Cảm giác lo lắng, băn khoăn dường như tan biến, thay vào đó là sự thanh thản và bình yên mà cô chưa từng cảm nhận được từ trước đến giờ. Giờ đây, cô có thể yên tâm mở lòng mình để đón nhận tất cả những gì tốt đẹp nhất từ Hùng. Cô không còn phải gồng mình chống cự hay tránh né nữa, mà thay vào đó sự chấp nhận và tin tưởng vào những gì tương lai sẽ mang đến cho cô. Từ khoảnh khắc ấy, mọi thứ trong cuộc sống của cô dường như trở lên dễ dàng và tươi đẹp hơn. Mỗi ngày trôi qua, Tieu Ca cảm nhận rõ ràng mọi chuyện, dù khó khăn hay thử thách, giờ đây cô có thể đều vượt qua một cách dễ dàng và nhẹ nhàng nhất khi cô biết rằng Hùng đã ở bên cạnh cô. Những lo âu, sợ hãi trước kia đã dần lùi xa, nhường chỗ cho những niềm vui giản dị vô cùng quý giá đang chuẩn bị đến với cô.